My family mocked me and compared me to my sister all my life, but now they're begging me to invite them to my wedding because I'm marrying someone wealthy. I almost did until my aunt told me something. I'm a 23-year-old who was born into a middle-class family consisting of my parents and my older sister, Kelly, who is 25 years old. My parents were academics, so it was clear they had high expectations for both Kelly and me. Kelly was an excellent student, an extremely successful person with the appearance of a Greek goddess. I, on the other hand, wasn't as good academically, wasn't as attractive, and was overweight. However, I was very good at art from a very young age. People who say that appearance doesn't matter in society have never really been unattractive because I faced discrimination because of it, even from my own family. I considered it acceptable when my parents scolded me for my studies because I understood their reasons, but they always ended up commenting on my appearance and how I couldn't even fit the stereotype of the dumb blonde if I failed at everything else, constantly comparing me to Kelly. Kelly didn't say much, but I could feel her gaze on me every time we walked to school together, as if she wanted to disappear rather than be seen with me, even when we were kids. At every family event, whenever my relatives tried to praise me for my achievements, my parents would always interrupt and make jokes about how bad I looked, comparing my face to that of animals, causing some awkward laughs since they were the hosts. But the damage they did to me was irreparable. I always thought it was my fault for being ugly, which led to me developing an inferiority complex. I rarely talked to anyone or participated in activities at school for fear of being judged. One day, my school counselor saw me sitting in an empty classroom drawing and suggested that I participate in the upcoming poster contest. I said no, and she decided to get to the bottom of it by talking to me about it. She discovered my issues and called my parents that same day, asking them to take me to a psychologist, as their constant criticism wasn't helping. To avoid being seen as negligent, they agreed to enroll me in therapy. The following years were good. I was finally able to build my self-esteem with the help of my therapist. However, this didn't change the sarcastic comments I used to receive from my parents. They mocked my appearance, and when I showed my disapproval, they told me I should have a sense of humor. I decided from that moment on that I would move out of their house as soon as I turned 18. Finally, my 18th birthday arrived, but my parents didn't forget to make it all about Kelly. Kelly got a job as a model, Kelly got into a well-known university, Kelly is the best, that's all I could hear during the party. Only my maternal aunt stood up and reminded everyone that it was my birthday and that maybe we should talk about me instead of Kelly. Everyone agreed, except for my family, who didn't like my aunt's intervention and remained silent for the rest of the party, even when it was time to sing happy birthday. After the party, I went to my room and cried. The next day, I called a friend who helped me find a small apartment. I had money saved from my part-time job, so finances weren't an issue. My move wasn't a problem for anyone in my family. Forget about asking why I was leaving. They didn't even notice I was leaving for good until I started loading my friend's car with boxes full of my stuff. They didn't say much, just one last remark about how their house would finally look better with my departure. Kelly, very unexpectedly, gave me a book she liked as a farewell gift. I studied and worked extremely hard that year. I discovered my passion for software engineering and, fortunately, got into a highly reputed university for it. I hadn't spoken to my parents since I moved out, so I decided to go invite them to my graduation. I arrived at the house and found the door locked. I called them, and after several calls, when they finally answered, they told me they couldn't attend my graduation because they were out of the country on vacation. I thought they might change their minds when they heard about my admission and offer to pay my tuition, as they did with Kelly, but all I got was an "Oh, that's great. I'm happy for you." I hung up the call and went straight to my aunt's house to invite her to my graduation instead. We talked, and I cried a little over my family's distant behavior, and she promised to be there for me. Since then, I moved to another city to attend university. 6 years later, I was working for a renowned company as a software engineer and also did freelance work as a graphic designer. My relationship with my family had been almost non-existent during these years. I only used to receive invitations for big family events, only to be mocked most of the time, so I decided to stop going after a year. My aunt noticed this and invited me to her house for all the holidays, so you could say I didn't miss my family much. The company I worked for was very relaxed, with no obvious hierarchies among employees. Once, our company needed someone to redesign its logo, so I volunteered. They asked me to work with a guy from the office whom I had never met before. Let's call him Rob. Rob and I worked on that project for almost 3 months, and we became great friends. We started dating after work. You can click on share more to see if there is a part 2.